Hey guys, and welcome to this video update. This is going to be a quick 5-minute video of my Kang Tao from Cyberpunk 2077 as a functional Nerf gun. So this video I'm going to tell you just real quickly about the mechanical functions, how the solenoid pusher works and the guide rail system inside here, how the mag release works, which is right here. So I'm going to show you that in this video. So if you want to see this thing firing, that'll be in the next video, I believe, where I show you all the crazy electronics that you see here and how it all works and stuff. So test firing, next video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to see that. So this is how the mag release works. So what you're seeing here, this giant red piece, this is like a shell that the magazine goes into. You can design it differently if you want. This is not really necessary. You could have this integrated into the actual main body of the Nerf blaster. But here you have here's like there's the catch in there, and then there's the spring, and then this is just a cover to stop the spring from like flying off, right? And a little screw there to keep the cover on. So inside here you can see the catch is located right there. To activate the catch there is a lever, this lever thing here. I find the lever easier to use than a slide switch. So the way this works is that when you push this lever, when you pull it, when you push it forward, so that's forwards, this lever swivels around this, it pivots around this screw here. And then this slot up here goes over the catch pin. So there's like a catch, the catch that was behind there, that's behind there. There's like a pin that sticks up and goes through that slot. And it's important that this is a slot, not a hole. So it looks like a hole, but it's just slightly like a slot. That allows, as it's pivoting back and forth, it allows the pin to slide up and down inside that slot. This spring was from a Nerf blaster I had laying around. You can pick up any spring that'll sort of be of similar size, just a small like Nerf magazine release size spring. I don't know what size it is, I just got it and stuck it in there. And then you got this plate here. This plate has got its own little pin that goes into the center of the spring, only slightly, just to keep the spring centralized so it doesn't like flop around in there. Just a little guide pin that sticks inside the center of the spring. So now I'm going to show you a magazine. And I stick that in there. There's a slot right there, and that lines up with the catch pin, like that. And now I cannot take it out. To remove it, you just you see, you sort of do it like this actually. So like with your thumb like that, and then you pull it out, and then you push it back in. It's a lot easier to do it when it's mounted to the blaster itself. Sort of like a weird angle I got here, but anyways. Alright, so this is like the shaft that connects to the solenoid. There's a solenoid, and this connects to the shaft. It's basically an extension. So the reason for this, you don't need this usually, but I wanted this window here, and I wanted to see this extension, this pusher rod, if that's what you want to call it, go back and forth inside the window or through the window. So that's what the Kang Tao from the video game Cyberpunk 2077. So the issues I had with this when I mounted this to here, so this mounts basically like that. So the shaft just continues on and it goes into here, and this surface here pushes a dart into the flywheels over here. And the issue I have with this is that it would swivel around, it'll rotate around on the solenoid, like it'll just rotate around like that. And of course, because it's so long, it would sag over here, the shaft would sag down a little bit. So to fix that, I've got this plastic stuff here. So this is, so what this is, you're looking at the top view of it now. And what this is basically, it has a guide rail in there. And basically this thing goes back and forth, and the guide rail helps it stay in place and prevent it from swiveling and twisting around. So the way that, if I take this apart, so basically it's just a metal pin. I just got this from a radio control car. You can just get any metal pin, stick it in there, and then there's like a slot in here, and then the pin basically goes through there, slides back and forth. Lubricate the pin. I used like shock grease, I think, shock absorber grease from radio control cars, also known as green slime or something like that. It connects onto the solenoid shaft like that, and then the solenoid basically pushes back and forth, and the guide rail keeps it nice and straight. So hopefully you can see here, this is the flywheel cage behind there. So this is main body shell pieces, and then this is like a barrel, but inside there is a flywheel cage. And I'm just going to show you how the motors are mounted. So there's little screws in there, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You can't see the fourth one is there. Yeah, so when you have a dart going through the flywheels, it puts a bit of strain onto the motors, and it wants to push the motors apart, and that could put a lot of strain onto the mounting screws on the rear side. So to fix that, these inner diameter of this flywheel cage, that is pretty much matches the outside diameter of the green coloured motors you see inside there. That way the motors are really like snug fit in there, and they cannot really push apart so easily, because the actual flywheel cage itself is preventing it from doing that, instead of just the mounting screws in the rear. So now these motors are sort of press fit in there, and mounting screws in the rear, so they're not going to go anywhere. So they will no longer like spread apart. These flywheels are also 3D printed. That's because I looked at metal flywheels, and they're only made for, if you want to purchase some aluminium flywheels for example, they're only made for brushed motors, not really for these brushless motors, and they're like entirely different shape, so they definitely will not fit. So it's just easier to 3D print my own. And also note that these are left and right hand turn threads. I'm not sure which one's which, but basically one's counterclockwise and one's clockwise. So with radio control planes, they have left and right motors and stuff. That's so that when one flywheel spins this way and the other flywheel spins the opposite way, one of them is going to have a loosened nut eventually. It'll sort of untighten itself. So to prevent that, one of these screws are counterclockwise, and the other one's clockwise. So that way they sort of self-tighten themselves. Alright, thanks for watching. That sums up this video. Be sure to subscribe to see this thing firing in the next video when I explain some electronics and all that sort of stuff. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.